Right now, the airplane market just keeps on rising and it's getting harder and harder to find good airplanes. It's especially hard to find a good 172M in this price range. The 172M model is the most in-demand airplane. This is a Midwest plane with no corrosion. It's been a hangared and well-maintained plane. It just came out of annual a couple of months ago, and we've had multiple flights, including a 4-hour long cross-country. It starts right up and flies very well. It's got good compression, uses very little oil, no damage history, and it's got all of the airframe logs since new, and it's got the engine logs since the last major overhaul, which is the most important part for the engine. Now this was kept and used on a grass strip, which is why that wheel pants aren't on there. He never had them, he never installed them. So it'd be about $500 to $600 for a set of used wheel pants if you wanted them installed. This plane has actually been upgraded to all digital radios. It's got a clean interior, clean exterior, a few paint chips around here and there. ADS-B out will be included with the plane. It's actually scheduled for installation. The avionics shop just completed the transponder check. It does have a newer style transponder in there. And just looking at the overall condition, you can see that it's been a hangared plane. You can see that it's been in the Midwest because it doesn't have the corrosion. Overall, the paint is in really good shape with just those few minor chips here and there. And the glasses are so clean because it's always been kept inside and it's been maintained, wiped down after the flights and things like that. You can just look at a condition of a plane and you can understand that the pilot's taken care of it. Now it's got the little steps on the front there, so that's super easy to hop in and out and check your fuel quantity. It's got both the one on the fuselage, the one on the wing strut, and the little handhold. So those are a really nice feature to have. Is take a look in the wings, see if there's any corrosion in there. That'll give you a good indication of how it's been maintained as well. Let's take a look at the engine on this Cessna 172. It's a Lycoming 0320 E2D. This is one of the best, low maintenance and longest lasting engines, and that's one of the main reasons that this particular model of 172 is so popular. Now this engine actually has 2,190 hours on it. So even though TBO is 2,000 hours for these engines, even flight schools will run them to 3,000 or even 3,500 hours. The TBO is just a number. As an example of that, I'm actually flying a different plane that has the Lycoming 4-cylinder engine and has almost 3,000 hours on it. It's over 900 above TBO on that engine. And I fly that plane cross-country even at night and it runs great. One of the 3 things to watch on engines to know when it's time to do an overhaul, it's not the number TBO, it's that it has good oil pressure, there's no metal in the oil when you do the oil changes, and good compressions. And this plane has all 3. The compressions on this were 70, 76, 78, and 70. So good compressions all around. One of the reasons for it lasting as long as it has is because of the engine heater in it. So you can see the plug here is for the engine heater, and this is wired around to all 4 cylinders that have the plugs in them to heat up each cylinder separately. And there are some companies that when they do overhaul, if you have these engine heating systems installed in it, they'll actually warranty it all the way to TBO. That's how important it is to have these engine heaters and not have cold starts on these engines. You can also take a look and see that it has the Lycoming factory cylinders, another really good thing, and another thing that other plane that I fly with higher hours on it, that has the Lycoming cylinders as well. You can take a look at the rest of the condition of the engine. You can see how well it's been maintained. Even on the firewall, there's no corrosion there. It's in really nice shape overall. The hoses, wires, everything like that, they've all been maintained over the years. Now, one of the last things I want to show you, I mentioned oil. It's extremely important on your oil. You need to maintain it, you need to change it regularly. I usually do about every 25 hours when I'm flying. But let's take a look at this oil. See how golden that is still? And that's with over 10 hours of flying on it. So you can see that this engine is still in really good shape. It's not burning oil. And if you also take a look underneath, you'll see that there's no oil leaks under there. And again, that's after 10 hours of flying it, the last time that the cowling was taken off and cleaned up or anything like that. And there's no leaks. It doesn't burn oil in flight. It's just overall a really good, solid engine. So looking at the interior of the Cessna 172M, I'm going to take a look at the upholstery first, and the seats especially. So the seats, you can see, very clean condition. There aren't any rips. It's a really nice two-tone seat upholstery. And one of the things I want to show you is that both of the front seats are articulating. So it's got the slide for going forward and backward. It's got two knobs on here as well. The one knob adjusts the height, so you can see it goes up and down quite a bit, and then the other knob adjusts the backrest, and that's on both seats, so that's not very common. Usually it's just the main pilot seat, but this one does the same thing. It has the up and down as well as the recliner for the back. When we go down to the carpets, then we take a look. It's got the matching maroon carpet. It's in really nice condition. The one thing I did notice is that they don't have the sewing around here. That is kind of a little bit more clean cut, but not a big deal. And then looking at the rest of the paneling, you can see that this is all matching the two-tone. It does have this opening here, usually where the venting is, so that could be adjusted there, but otherwise it is a really nice big pocket in there. Again, the matching all the way through on the upholstery even goes into the door panels, that two-tone theme. And one other thing about these doors is the windows. So most times these are fixed closed windows on the Skyhawks. This one opens on the co-pilot side, but not only that, you have it on the pilot side as well. And that's not common at all to have both of the windows be able to open like that. So taking a look at the back half of the interior, you can see that the rear seat also has that same two-tone upholstery to it. Overall clean condition, just a little spot here and there. And the carpet again is a nice clean condition. It's a one piece all the way through to the back. You've got the rear paneling that's still got that two-tone to it. Overall, the plastics are in pretty good shape. There's a couple of different spots that have a little bit of cracking to it, and these panels are usually about 75, maybe a little bit more per panel, so not too expensive to replace them. There's a small piece missing out of this corner here, as well as one in the back baggage area. But if you take a look at the headliner and everything, those are clean. It's got the kind of the rubber type of headliner up here. It's also a little bit of a noise deadening from what I've found. Overall pretty nice, the vents and everything for the rear seats, as well as the venting for the front up here, and then the three-point harness system for the pilot and the co-pilot are nice and tucked in up there as well. It does have the visors up here, so that helps a little bit when you're flying into the sun. Overall, pretty decent interior. Let's take a closer look at the panel on the 172. So we've got pretty much standard gauges across our six-pack, very clean on all of the glasses. Our attitude indicator has been updated at one point along the way, and then what's nice about this one is that it does have a true speed airspeed indicator that you can adjust based on your temperature and your altitude. You've got our carb temp gauge down here, which is very beneficial to have, especially in colder climates. Although the location of the carb on these 172s is right next to the muffler, so it very seldom gets carb ice, but it is nice to have that as an added safety. When you look over here, we do have the VOR indicators. The CDI has been tested and working. It does have an older school ADF system that has not been tested on it. There's an avionics master switch, which not all of the 172s come with. So once you switch on the master here, and then we'll flip on the avionics master, then you can see all of the avionics light up. So we've got dual digital radios, the Narco MK12Ds. We've got a PS Engineering, the PM1000 Number 2 for the pilot and co-pilot, both volume and squelch. And then over here we've got our standard fuel gauges, oil pressure, oil temp, amp gauge, our hour meter, and then a Garmin GTX 320A transponder, so a little bit of an updated version on the transponder. A little bit of a cubby hole here for the POH, your cabin air and cabin heat, and then actually 40-degree flaps, if you can see that indicator as well. Center stack, or center console, pretty clean condition. It's got an extra mic phone down here. There is push to talk on both the pilot and the co-pilot yokes. Our trim, and then obviously our fuel indicator. We've got both left and right, 19 gallons a side. So pretty standard 172 panel. I'm going to make sure the fuel is to both. Our trim is set for the takeoff. We've got our mixture in, flaps up. Our throttle is going to be just a hair in. It's a pretty warm day out, so we'll just probably use 1 pump of primer. Make sure that that's locked. We'll get our masters on. And once we turn the key, you can see we've got the window open on the side here to let some air in while we're taxiing. That's one of the nice things about having those windows that open on the sides. We'll get pulled up down to the end here and we'll get it set up. Our oil temp, watch for that. Once we make sure it's nice and warm, then we'll be able to take off, but we should be ready to do a run up here once we get taxi down to the end. So we had it leaned out for taxi, so we'll push the mixture back in, and then we're going to increase the RPMs. So we'll get that up to 1700, then we're going to do our mag check. So that's left mag, right mag, so those are a nice clean drop.
Detroit Lakes traffic, Sioux 33.
Perfect, there's a drop there.
South,
Alright, then we're going to go over here, we're going to see you've got oil pressure right in the middle of the green. Our oil temp is coming up nicely. Our amp gauge is showing on the positive side of 0. We've got fuel quantities showing in a little bit above half on both. Our suction gauge is right here in the middle, and that's showing right on the top of the green, so that's good. Everything else should be set. We'll get our gauges set and get ready for takeoff. So you can see on the departure we're getting a nice airspeed of about 85 knots, which is our above our VY climb speed, where we've actually got over 1,300 feet a minute climb right there. So you can see we're making nice power here. We've got about 2,500 RPM. Oil pressure's right in the middle there. Oil temps are showing good. So as we're getting leveled off here, you can see leveling off, we're generating full power. We're about 3,500, so it's right there between sea level and 5,000, 2,600 RPM, and our airspeed is at about 100 and almost 30 miles an hour.
Put in base for 32, Sioux 33.
We decided we were going to climb up a bit higher to check out the performance. The cloud deck is right about 8,500 feet right now, and so we're just reaching 8,000 feet at this stage. And then climbing up through 9,000 feet, and we still have a nice solid climb rate going. Now you can see we're up above the clouds, and the indicated altitude is over 10,000 feet. With today's temperature, the density altitude is probably over 11,000 right now. We've got some nice calm air up above the clouds. We've got a really nice indicated airspeed going, so we could actually climb much higher if we needed to. And we descended down almost 9,000 feet for landing in just 25 miles.
Doesn't look too fast right now, but there are gusts, so just watch your airspeed. Bit of a gusty wind, so we are going to do a no flap landing here. Get our airspeed down, but we'll stay at about 80.
And you can subscribe to our email notification list on our website to get priority notifications for upcoming airplanes for sale. Please take the time to visit our Aerolife YouTube channel for many detailed airplane reviews. Thanks for watching.